some point after school, when did you decide that it was actually going to be construction?
While I was in Jackson, I had wanted to be an architect at first.
Mhm.
And then I found out that I had to work under somebody else until they felt I could go stay for like study for take the test.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, that sounds like if you
Slavery.
right. And my mind like, oh, if you an a-hole and you like, nah, I don't want this black woman taking this test, then now I
Right.
gotta go to another firm and start up. I was like, no, scratch that. And then that's
Mm.
how I got into construction.
So
Like I make
that makes a lot
on
of
the
sense.
fly decisions a lot.
Well, it says successful people make decisions quickly, right? And they take long to
Yeah.
change their mind. So I could see that. So what but isn't wasn't construction like a male dominated field? Like did it just feel like, yeah, I could just do this, or did you feel like there were challenges or going to be challenges with that?
Well, a little bit of both. So my granddad, he had a big carpentry company in
Mm.
Alabama and Georgia, so I kind of grew up around it. And
Mm.
then my dad and brothers were brick masons, so I was
Mm.
always around it. I just didn't realize it was going to be to this magnitude. So I really wish
Right.
my granddad was still living because I know he'd be super proud
Oh.
on the site with his cowboy hat and his overalls, like he was when I was a kid. So I do wish he was here for that. So I was kind of around it. And then in '07, I was an intern for MDOT, which is Michigan Department of Transportation. And that was my
Mm.
first time really in construction. So I
Mm.
was a highway engineer co-op, like intern. And when I
Mhm.
got my first check, I'm like, this is what I'm about to do. Cause
Right.
if I'm an intern and I'm making a couple grand a month and I'm an
Wow.
intern, what am I gonna make like after this internship is over? So
Mhm.
that's really what made me be like, I'm doing construction and I'm sticking with it. And then I switched to residential. It wasn't by choice.
Mm.
The company I worked for, I was making like 35, 40 an hour. So I was
Mm.
making very good money, but I
Mm.
only worked from April to October. So she ended up moving her company to Charlotte. And I got
Oh.
like a little 6 month heads up. So I was able to save. So it kind of forced me to be like, all right, as you've been BSing with this idea of having your own construction company, now it's time to do it. So
Mhm.
I tell people all the time, when you broke and like lost everything and your back against the wall like
Mhm.
me, like your hustle be a whole lot different. Cause
It
my
hits a
whole
little
thing was,
different, huh?
yeah, cause my whole thing was like, if this don't work, which it will, cause that's how I think. But
Mm.
if it don't, I got this engineering degree and I can always go back and get a job.
Mhm.
But then when the money started coming in after, that 5th year is always the truth. Once that 5th year happened and stuff started taking off, I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't even spell job.
You're like,
Nope.
"No, I don't know what that means. Don't talk to me about
Nope.
no job."
Employee. I can spell that. Nope.
You said that, your mindset is always, that is going to happen, that, it's gonna be successful. How did you get that?
That's definitely my mom, my
Mm.
family. I remember telling my family, like, all right, I'm about to start my company. And my family has always been very supportive from day one.
Mhm.
And I remember my goddad, he said, all right, Asia, I'm going to support you, but if you ain't going to do this, I don't want to hear it no more. And that's how my family is. You're not going to keep talking about what you're going
What
to
you
do.
about to do, okay.
Yeah, and you ain't did it because especially my mom, she will keep asking you, when you gonna
Mm.
do this? When you gonna do this? And it's gonna make you so mad to where you like, I gotta do it.
Right. That's
So it
good,
kind
that's
of
the
worked out.
motivation.
Yeah, so it kind of worked out.
Yeah, and it's good that they're pushing you to do what you said you wanna do, right? It's like they're holding you accountable, and that's really important to have people in your corner who's like, "Okay, this is what you wanna do, so let me," instead of saying, "You ain't gonna do this." You ain't
Oh
gonna,
no, not my family. They'll
Mhm.
fight you about me or about each other. Like my family is very oriented. Like we're real big. Like
Mhm.
before COVID, we would have a Friday fish fry, spades night. Like in my family, we're very competitive. So it
Wow.
just so funny.
I
But
love
it's pretty.
that.
Yeah, my family's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. So what did you how did you go about starting your business? It's just like getting licenses and then you just build a team? Was it like that easy?
I started. Well, the first name was, I think it was AD Construction and Management. I was like, that is too long. And then the next day I woke up, was like, boom, Denson Construction Services. So I went and changed the name. So I
Mhm.
still was working. So I was like BS. And I think I made like 12 grand a year in the company. Like, all right, whatever. When
Mhm.
I lost my job and was losing my condo, that changed everything.
Wow.
So it kind of I didn't get my license. I didn't even know I needed a license till like
Mm.
probably that next summer. I thought, oh, I need a license because I was working,
Right.
but I didn't know I needed a license. So I went and studied for my test. I passed August 2012,
Mhm.
and then it just went from there. Then I started finding about all these different certifications I can get, like my woman owned, minority owned. I
Mm.
found out my dad, he's a veteran. So I even told him the other day, like, you're about to be added as 49%. So now I can be woman owned, black owned, now
And
veteran owned,
veteran.
and that's more
Mm.
stuff that I can go get. So it kind of just went like that. I never had a business plan. I
Mhm.
remember going to a free class my college had when I was down there for like a homecoming. I was like, all right, go.
Mhm.
And then when I found out all you had to write, remember, I don't like
You're not
English.
right.
So I was like, nah, I just know what I wanted to do and just did it. Like I've never wrote a business plan. I think I had like maybe two sentences. I'm like, this is too much.
Mhm. It's
Not
wow.
that.
So it sounds like, things just like kind of happened. And I'm sure it's due to, your mindset and you just like being positive about anything. But did you have any challenges along the way?
Yeah, I had challenges like
Mm.
a lot of broke days.
Mm.
I'm grateful to my mom to this day. When I told her I was losing my house, she
Mm.
was like, "Baby, just come home. Don't worry about nothing." And
Mm.
once she gave me that A-OK, could nobody stop me like after that point. So that was definitely a challenge. Being a
Awesome.
woman was a challenge the first couple of years because
Mm.
I used to do free estimates like most contractors, right?
Okay.
And people would just be like, "Oh, I wanted to see if you was a girl." I'm like, "Are you serious? I done came
What?
out here wasting my gas, my time. I'm
Mhm.
broke, remember? So I can't really
Mhm.
afford to
To
be
come over
doing
here.
right these pointless estimates."
Mhm.
So that was that. And then I remember one Sunday I went to look at this lady house.
Mm.
Walking Dead was coming on. That's my show, and I
Really?
missed it.
Oh.
And she was like, I gave her the estimate, and then she was like, "Oh well, I only wanted to know if you was a female and what you was gonna charge. I'm gonna have my uncle do it." I was like, "This will never happen again." So like,
Wow.
I'm charging $50. At the time, nobody in Detroit was charging for estimates. Nobody. I
Wow.
really think I was the first one. And
Mm.
then I started going up to 75, 100, 150. Now I'm at 250. And the busier I get, I'm just gonna keep upping the price because it keeps weeding out a lot of BS. And I started getting way better contracts. Like once I started
Mm.
charging, because people, if they respect your time, they gonna pay.
Oh, I love that. That is really important. Um,
That
yeah, it's really important. They say like people value more what they have to pay for sometimes.
I
And
agree with that.
yeah, and being a woman in business, a lot of people try you like that to see like, okay, they want to see how much they could get for free. They want to see if they could, if you gonna be a pushover, if they could walk all over you. So
Right.
I love that you figured that out and was like, no, this is how we gonna do it.
Yeah, I think what really helped me too is like in the process of studying for my builder's license, I went to carpentry school,
Mm.
and I only did that so I wanted to really learn the trade itself, not just the business. Because so a lot was going on 2012 to 14. So I'm in grad school getting my construction management master's. I'm
Hmm.
going to carpentry school, and I'm studying for my test. And a
Wow.
lot of people like that's a lot. I'm like it really wasn't because it all worked itself out and was kind of all the same thing. So
Okay.
the master's taught me the business part because I realized most black contractors don't know nothing about construction business. They know how
Mm.
to do the job, but they don't know the business side as far as what rights we have, how we're protected,
Right.
and what rights the clients have and stuff like that. So that really started setting me apart. So I started getting contractors who like, I done heard about you. I heard you protect us. I just want to work with you.
Mm.
Or and it's to the point now where my subs they sign whatever I put in front of them. I'm not a grimy person,
Right.
thankfully, but like, cause they trust me. And
Mhm.
then I realized that men just want to work. They ain't trying to talk to nobody because their patient is not going to be like me and your patients. We're women, so we got more
Mhm.
patience. We're nurturers. They like, hey man, this is the price. Can you pay? No,
That's it.
bye. That's it. And if they get into it, now you got egos and testosterone. So I'm kind of like, that buffer.
Mm.
So it kind of worked itself out. So I have an amazing team. In 11 years, I only got, effed over twice. And that only happened when I was trying to grow too fast
Mm.
and I was trying to get more subs. So now it's to the point where I just keep rocking with the same people I got. And if I can't get to you, I just can't get to you.
Mm. I see. So what were do you want to talk about those experiences where people screwed you over?
Sure. Well, well, I talk a little bit because two is about to go through litigation
Oh yeah,
because
whatever you want to share.
when I was about to start the lawsuit process with those stuff, COVID happened, so all the courts were shut down. So I'm
Mm,
just now being able to. So the first one was
mm,
this one contractor. He's not licensed at all, but
mm,
his whole staff has license. And I
mm.
never wanted to be like that because if that staff member wants to leave, I'm screwed. So that's
Right.
why I always make sure I got the license, and then I just sub out to people I
Mhm,
see fit.
mhm.
Because if I sub out, my license is on the line for that person, so you can't just let everybody work under you.
Yeah.
So this
Let me
person,
I just want to create some clarity. So subbing out is you're the general contractor, you have the contract for the job and you
right?
hire specialties, right, to come in and do the work.
Yeah, so I hire all my carpenters. I hire them do all the. So the carpentry side is everything but electrical, plumbing, heating, and cooling,
Mhm.
and that's it. So carpentry, your windows, all the finished work, the drywall, all that's carpentry.
Mm.
So I would sub that out. I sub out my trades because they still have to be licensed. So the heating and cooling guy got to be licensed, the
Mhm.
plumber, and the electrician. Because I only deal with licensed people and journeyman carpenters because
Okay.
they have something to lose.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. So as a GC or a general contractor, I get the contract between me and you,
Mhm.
and then I will sub out that contract between me and somebody else, and
Mm.
they do the work.
Okay. Got it. All right. So get back to the story.
Little construction 101 there.
Construction 101 in a bite.
I forgot we was talking about beforehand. I'm
We were
sorry.
talking about you were saying how there was only 2 times that you got screwed over and you were gonna share part of one story.
Yes.
Mm,
So this person wasn't licensed, so they wanted me to come on as their qualifying officer. So
mm,
in Michigan, when you become a licensed residential builder, you get the license Asia Denson, and then you can apply for your company to get the license.
mm,
So as a qualifying officer, I can come work under Sabine Construction,
mm,
Sabine Contracting and Sons. I can
mm.
go work for all these other different companies under that license, and
Okay,
then the company license is still licensed by itself. So
okay.
I'm like, all right, well, cool, I do it. Plus, and that's one time I really realized people lie.
Mhm.
So he allegedly was this big $1 million contractor, but I couldn't tell. But that's another story.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I'll help him because I'm very, very organized. Like I just hired my first VA last November. So for
Wow,
10 years, I was doing everything by myself. So I was the estimator,
wow.
customer service, human resources, the project manager. I'm going to get materials, so I'm doing every. Well, my mom, she would help a lot too.
Mhm,
So I was doing everything myself. So he like, well, I need your help on the organization side, and in return, I'll teach you what I know. So I'm like, all right, cool.
mhm.
I don't mind, trading, bartering services if it's gonna help me grow in the long run. But he
Right.
ended up screwing me. He ended up not finishing the contract. I had to call in some of my subs, and they came in because they got my back just like I got theirs, and I was able to
Mm.
send it. So now I had to go after him for the difference of what I had to pay because he just
Wow.
literally walked up the job.
Wow, wow.
Yep.
And those are just the challenges. Like sometimes people think that business is, if you hear a good story that it's going to be all good, all the
Oh
time.
no. No, that's one. And then the person who like connected me to him, I told him about it. That's why now I don't take referrals from nobody. Let me find out
Mm,
on my own. So
mhm.
now instead of giving people a whole contract, I started you off small, like a clean out, cutting the
Yeah.
grass. If you can't cut the grass on time, I know you can't, paint this house and do a
Right.
full renovation on time. So I started them off small like that. So the person that connected us,
Mm,
he has his own, it's a black owned supply company here.
mhm.
So when I told him, he told him like, hey, your money no good here. So it really messed his name up out here,
Oh
which
wow.
I don't care. So I ain't lost no sleep over it.
I oh man, that's crazy. But I love how you sort of just like, listen, we're gonna fix it, we're gonna do it right because our name is what's important, you know?
Oh, my name is everything. Like if
Mm,
my name is on it, that's why I tell people as a general contractor, you really have to be careful about who you sub out work to.
mhm.
And because your name is on the contract, they don't know nothing about Sabine Construction and Sons.
Right.
My name is on the contract. So my reputation is what's important to me. So I took a loss on that job. I didn't make no money. I had to go into my own pocket just to
Mm,
finish it because I started it and I want to finish something. So I'm
mhm.
really big on, my name and protecting it.
Yeah, 100%. And you say a lot how people, this is how they mess up their job by not hiring me. Right?
Oh, all
I
the
see it
time.
all the time.
All
What
the time.
And is it just that because I know contractors get a bad rep, is it just that, just all these contractors are just dishonest? What do you feel like sets you apart so much?
Um, Unfortunately, it's way more bad than good contractors. It just is. It
Mhm.
just unfortunately. I just been blessed to have an amazing team. Having a praying mother always works too.
Yeah.
Because she always would pray that I get good people, I get good help, I get good contract. Like every day, my mom was like, "I pray for you to get a big contract." So that's huge. But
Mhm.
I think it's greed is a lot of it.
Mm.
Unfortunately, it's more men in construction, so unfortunately, a lot of them do take advantage of people,
Okay.
especially women investors. But on the flip side, women investors have been my worst clients because
Really?
they can't separate. I'm like, you're not
Mm.
living here. This house does not need travertine tile.
Okay.
Like, and then we a clash because like they're emotional and I'm being logical because as a
You
woman,
know
I
the
tell people,
business.
yeah, like I mean, I cry, I'm a nurturer and stuff like that, but they ain't gonna
Mhm.
see it on the job site. Like,
Mhm.
but the women have been the worst. Like the lawsuits I've had and won, I'm like 4-0 right now. Um,
Hey.
right? Um, it's been with women,
Mm. Why
and
do you
it's
feel
women
like
that look
that? Do you
like
feel
us.
like it's a respect thing? Do you feel like they don't wanna see you win, so they're doing it purposefully? Why do you think that is?
I don't think it's a want to see me win. I
Mm.
think it's that a lot of women just think they know everything and they don't.
Mm.
And I'm like, you're
Okay.
gonna tell me 11 years in construction. That's
Mhm.
why you got screwed. Like every time, and this is what happens every time I start off with a client and they leave and find somebody else cheaper, they always come back every time. And then I tax them
Wow.
so heavily because you should have listened to me the first time. But some people hard head, like my mama said, soft head, make soft ass, hard head, make
Mm.
soft ass. So I'm just saying it's crazy. But I
Yeah.
do think that's a part of it is the emotions. Um, think they know everything.
Mhm.
I always thought men would be my worst clients because I'm coming into their field, but men don't be the problem. They listen to me.
Really? That is interesting. I was talking to Erica a few weeks ago. I know she's your good
Mhm.
friend. And
That's my own.
yeah, she was telling me how in trucking that she had a lot of pushback, from men not want to work from her for her just because she's a woman. And I would have
Yeah.
thought that you would have had that same experience, but you're like,
I
no.
did at the beginning, but
Mhm.
I kind of earned my respect because when a lot of contractors know that I know what I'm doing and that I know construction, that
Mhm.
helps. And on top of that, I pay. So a lot
Mm.
of business owners say they should pay themselves first. I don't agree with that in construction. I
Mm.
always pay my subs first, then my supplier, and I get paid last if on the job I get paid at all.
Mm.
It depends on like if I had to, fire somebody or something like that, or if I underbid and made a mistake, I got to eat that mistake. I can't come back and be like, oh, I forgot to add this. I just got to eat it.
Mm.
So I think that helps me too because all my subs know when I call, the money is on the floor. It is there. It is cleared. Like I wait 14 days for my payments to clear before I start any job. I don't ever want to give a sub a check and then my check bounce
Right, right,
and then,
right.
then I mess up my relationship. So I think that helps a lot too. And then me coming from highway construction, that
Mhm.
helped too. Because I didn't really curse for real till I got in construction.
You didn't really
Like
curse for
I
real?
curse, but I ain't cuss
It was light.
until yeah.
Mhm.
Because I remember my first day on the highway, I got cussed out. I didn't even do nothing. I'm like, what?
Right.
So then I told my boss, and he's like, all right, Asia, I'm gonna tell you this. You in this male field. I know
Mhm.
you black, we white, but you gotta have nuts when you come out here. So next time they cuss you out, you cuss back. I was like, I can cuss back,
Mhm.
say
He's like,
less.
"My mama
And
told
after
me
that,
don't cuss."
I mean I cussed, but it wasn't like a sailor until I
Right.
got into construction. So
Wow.
after that, the next day he came with that same mess. I went off home, no more problems.
Wow. Did you have mentorship like that in the field where that kinda helped you? Did that person play a big role, or were there other people like that who helped you?
Oh yeah, my boss on the highway, Bill, he was a cool guy. Like he
Mhm.
was actually a white boy from Detroit. So
Okay.
I could tell when the white boys actually be from Detroit because how they act and
Right.
not the ones who grew up in like Mount Clemens or something.
Right.
So like he really like he was probably the first like kind of like all right, Asa, this is what you do. And then I
Mm.
remember when I told him, he's like, hey, they cuss you out, you cuss their ass back out. I'm like,
Mhm.
that's it. Like that's it. I was like, cool.
And that
I'm
worked
like
out.
that works.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, it
Um,
wasn't a lot of women on the highway. Like I'm still cool with one other girl, but I think it was like 5 of us.
yeah, you just I don't hear it a lot. I mean, I see women in construction sometimes. I did
Mm.
know someone who works in construction, but you don't see it a lot. So is it something where you're like you could do it if it's something that you desire, or do you feel like you need a special kind of something to do it?
I think women would do great in construction because we're nurturers and we listen. We don't have egos. So
Mm.
like men, like they be getting onto a job. So I'd be like, "Are y'all done?" Like, but one thing I respect about men so much, they're not like women. If they get into it, they make up and they
And it's
back being
done,
cool.
yeah.
Us, no, we hold 50-year grudges or whatever. So I respect that about them. They get into it and go get a beer and they back besties again.
Right.
So I think as women, we do great in construction because I look at quality way better than than I think a male will. So
Okay.
like when I'm done with a project, I walk through with a blue roll of tape and I'm marking the house up. Like, nope,
Mm.
miss this, miss that. And they just come behind me and fix whatever.
Okay.
Men on the other, I don't think they pay attention to quality as much
Mm.
or
Okay.
maybe detail as much as,
Mhm.
but I think women as a whole would do great. We're more organized, especially if you a parent, like you got kids, you got the organized soccer practice and all this other stuff. So I think women should definitely get into either the trade itself or on the construction side. It's
Mm.
just that we have to keep those emotions in check all the time.
Right, right. No crying on the job site.
Yeah, no crying. You cry in the car, but not on the job site.
I hear you.